Hello, I'm going to give you a brief overview of the Gmail interface. You can access your Gmail account from any modern web browser. I happen to be using Chrome, but you might be using Internet Explorer, Safari, Firefox, etc. You can access it by going to any number of different URLs. I prefer going to gmail.umn.edu, which will take me to the University of Minnesota sign-in screen. I'm going to log in with a training account. If you have a public Gmail account, then you're probably already familiar with how everything works. It should be almost identical. Up in the top left, it's showing the University of Minnesota logo. Next to that is a search box, an application browser, so if I want to open up my calendar or Google Groups, and then my account information. Below that, a little toolbar, then all my messages, and at the bottom of the screen, information about my account. Over on the left-hand side, there's options to switch between the email applications, mail, contacts, and tasks, then all of my labels, and finally, the Compose button. If I want to compose a new email message, click Compose. A pop-up window will show up. I can collapse it or expand it, and then I can start filling out the email message. There's a To field, and as I start typing, the autocomplete will be looking at both my address book and the university directory. So above the line are people that are already in my address book. Below the line, all the people with that name at the University of Minnesota. I can add Cc and Bcc by clicking on the links on the right-hand side and doing the same thing. And if I want to access someone in my address book, I can click any of these links to open up my address book. So if I want to include Archie, and select that. If I want to remove someone, I can do that, and then I can add a different person. The subject line, when I click in that, notice that the addressing field collapses. If I want to get back into the addressing field, just click there, and it will expand so I have access to all that. And then the body of the message. Down here, I've already set up a signature in my settings, so that appears at the bottom, and then I can go and put in my message here. Down in the bottom of the composition window, there's a Send button, a Formatting options, and when I click on Formatting options, I'll have access to the toolbar. Each button has a tooltip that will pop up, and most of the formatting options will have a keyboard shortcut. I'm using a Mac, so it's giving me the command plus the symbol for each one of the shortcuts. If I want to make something bold or italics, and if I want to clear formatting, just click the Remove Formatting button, and it's back to the way it was. Click on the Formatting button to just collapse that panel. I can then also attach things. I can attach files, which will just open up the files on my computer. I could attach a Word document or a PDF. If I want to link to a Google Drive item, I can use that feature. Insert a picture, a hyperlink, an emoticon, or a calendar event. As you're composing a message, Google is automatically saving it to your drafts folder. Notice right below my cursor it says saved, and over on the left-hand side my drafts is telling me that there's one message in here, this message here. So if I close this message, I haven't lost it. I can just go into my drafts and find it and continue editing. If I do want to throw away the message, I would use the trash can in the lower right. There's additional options next to the trash, so if I want to apply a label to it or switch to plain text, and also there's a check spelling. When I click on check spelling, it will highlight any of the messages that I may have misspelled. When I click on that, there's some options. And ABAC must be a word. When I'm ready, I can click on Send. And then I can find my sent messages in the sent mail label. Mine happens to be hidden underneath the More dropdown. And there's the message that I just sent. So that's the end of this movie. There's more in the series, so go ahead and watch the next one. Thank you very much.